I'm Diane Bleasdale. I work at Bridges Financial Services, part of the IOOF group, as a specialist risk advisor.
Excellent. And how long have you been doing that, Diane?
I've been with the Bridges group about 10 years now, and I've been in the risk insurance industry for 26 years.
Was risk insurance always your first career, or have you come out from another background?
No, after leaving school, I trained as a nurse and then a midwife, and then moved on, worked in a software house, corporates, and then landed up in financial services because somebody I worked with wanted someone to help with their paperwork when I left work to have my first child. And it's moved up from there.
So you started out doing the paperwork and you've moved into a specialist risk role?
Yes, yeah, started out just checking commissions, checking underwriting, following up. One day I worked with a baby in hand and moved up to being a senior risk advisor.
Excellent.
Taking on the changes that come through with legislation, doing exams and going to work 4 days a week now.
I have to ask, is there some similarities between the hand-holding you did as a midwife and the hand-holding you do with your clients today?
I think my health background really helps with my clients. I think they're happy to discuss medical issues, and I think the empathy and the caring comes through, and especially at claim time.
Does it make for some interesting conversations when it comes to underwriting, that you have those insights and the ability to come through?
I have definitely had some interesting conversations and disagreements with underwriting about implications on their decisions and how I don't believe it affects their conditions necessarily affect their life insurance. So yes, it has. And also at claim time, because I can understand what STQ waves and all this sort of thing mean on the claims managers and what we're looking for, so that's been good.
And has that been something you've used maybe to market yourself to clients or to promote yourself to clients, that you have that understanding, that insight?
Probably not really. It comes out more when we're doing applications and claims and talking to people about medical conditions and how that could affect their underwriting decisions, so that they're very aware of what the implications are. I find it's harder when people go, there's nothing wrong with me, and I'm having to talk about, yeah, the doctor says there's nothing really wrong now, it doesn't impact your lifestyle now, but down the track 20, 30 years time it can do, and doctors don't seem to address that with the clients, diabetics being a prime example. So I sometimes find myself in a difficult position explaining why the underwriter is loading or declining because of what could potentially happen down the track because of their medical condition.
Let's go back a little bit to when you're at school. What was your dream job back then?
Be a midwife. I grew up in England and I had this passion of cycling around villages on a bicycle delivering babies. That shows my age, doesn't it?
When you're not working, what do you like to do apart from spending time with your kids and your family?
Spend time with the family. I do a lot of bushwalking. I walk the dog. I belong to a bushwalking club, so we do lots of exercise on that. Gym, outdoor stuff, camping, skiing.
Here in New South Wales, like up in the mountains?
We don't ski as much now as we did when we were younger. The kids go off here or in Europe. We've been to Europe a couple of times, but yeah, mainly down at Thredbo or Hotham.
Now, you mentioned before that you grew up in the UK. When did you come to Australia?
I came to Australia initially back in the early 80s on a working holiday. Worked down in Melbourne as a midwife. Went back to England, met my husband who was coming over here with work, and came back here and couldn't work as a nurse in New South Wales, so did other things, and then we went back to England for 2 years, then came back here. So it's been a bit of in the 80s it was a bit of a backwards and forwards depending where the jobs were and where companies were moving us. And then we came back for good in the end of the 80s, deciding we thought we'd have a better lifestyle and bring up a family here rather than in the south of England.
Now, just in case you want to run for Parliament, have you renounced your English citizenship?
Nope, I've got dual citizenship.
Well, that counts you out, I'm sorry.
Totally, I'm never going to be a politician.
Looking at the industry and your own work, what are some of the challenges you see for yourself? You mentioned education already, but outside of education, what are some of the other challenges you see in the next year or two?
I think the role of the specialist advisor, how you're going to get the revenue for doing the job that you do. There's a lot of work involved in really looking after your clients and doing a needs analysis, implementing the right products for them. And I don't think that's being properly recognised by the powers that be, ASIC or whoever, about just how long it takes us to do that. And then how long we might not have a lot to do with the clients in between every year because they're quite happy, but every 2 to 5 years you might do a full review, and then if there is a claim, you are very, very involved. And the income that we generate by servicing them every year, we use to help pay for that claim service that we give. We don't ask them to pay us when we're probably helping them deliver on the promise that they bought a policy from us. So I think it's going to be a tough one to, if they're going to limit to what our income is or fee for service. I don't think many people will be able to afford the fees for the advice.
So why do you think the role of the specialist has been misunderstood or downplayed?
I don't know, really. I think maybe people don't. I think there's been a lot of bad press and about people doing the wrong thing, and like anything, the industry is just being pulled apart because of it. And I think the future is going to be having teams of specialists working together and selling their services so that you can justify the costs of the advice rather than one specialist only providing that advice. And that's where we're going towards, working with other people who want to work alongside us as specialists.
Thinking about outside of your work, what are some personal achievements you'd like to do in the next few years? If I put it maybe bluntly, what's your bucket list? My
bucket list: sail out of Sydney Harbour on a cruise ship, climb to Machu Picchu. I haven't got a huge bucket list. There's lots of things I think I'd like to do, but I don't have a great long list of I have to do all these things. A lot of it is spending the time and sharing those experiences with family and friends, and who knows what opportunities. Some people go, oh, let's go and do this, and so probably maybe it's more opportune than taking up opportunities you're offered rather than having I have to do this and have to do that.
One last thing, a message for your peers in the industry, one line, one thought, something that sticks out for you that you'd like to pass on to your colleagues.
Keep looking after your clients, act in their best interests, and your business grows. They want to deal with you if they think you're looking after them.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you.